Hiya! Welcome! So I did a video on how to watch wrestling if you're new or a lapsed fan wanting to get back into it, specifically based in the United Kingdom or Ireland, but a lot of the things I said obviously apply to people in Europe and across the world really. And I was delighted with the response to the video, and when I asked if people would like to see a part 2, I had some people responding saying, yeah, please tell us more about this thing that you love so much, Jimballs. And that's what this video is for. It's part 2. And what I thought I'd focus on in this video is the WWE Network, in particular, some things that I would really recommend that you watch. If you don't bother with any of the other things that I said in the video a couple of days ago, you should get the WWE Network because it's almost really a one-stop shop for wrestling. It's got everything you need, new and old, really. Everything else that I mentioned is almost kind of like bonus content, really. And when I was thinking about how to approach this video with recommendations, I thought, should I recommend some wrestling shows, some pay-per-views, or big events on the network? And that was really too broad a subject because there's more than just WWE, there's WCW, ECW, etc, etc on the network. And even if you're covering just WWE or WWF, as it was originally known in the 80s, you still got to sort of pick and choose from a 35-year period, really, of pay-per-views and supercards. And I may approach that subject in a future video and maybe just pick out a few pay-per-view events at random that I particularly recommend. But a lot of this is encouraging you to watch current wrestling, and obviously I can't recommend a pay-per-view that hasn't even happened yet. But what I can do is recommend to you to watch a few documentaries that are on the network. A couple of them fairly old, that were once out on DVD or Blu-ray, and some others that were more recent and are exclusive to the network itself. These haven't got any full matches in them, but they cover a lot of interesting history of either the wrestling business or the subject of the documentary itself. And I think these will really get you in the mood to start watching current content or even classic content as well. And these are 5. There's many more that I would personally love to tell you about, but I've decided to narrow it down to 5 WWE documentaries that I think you should watch. Andre the Giant was a co-production in 2018 between WWE and HBO, and it recently got uploaded to the network this year. It's an absolutely engrossing, heartwarming and fascinating documentary about one of the biggest legends in wrestling history and the first ever WWE Hall of Famer, Andre the Giant. I can't recommend this documentary enough. It is fascinating from start to finish, a must-see for new and old fans. The Hardys Wolken is an episode in the WWE 24 series on the network, which is a documentary strand covering various wrestlers and various moments in recent WWE history. And for me, this is the best one of the series. It is an astonishingly candid look at Matt and Jeff Hardy's careers, particularly the end of their initial runs in WWE and the personal and legal problems that both Hardy brothers had during their downtime from WWE. It of course also covers their triumphant return at WrestleMania 33, and this is just a very honest and engrossing watch. It's a story of redemption and it's a story of second chances. I find this to be an absolute must-see on the network. The Monday Night Wars is for me the world at war of WWE, quite appropriately really. It is an epic series that covers in absolute minute detail the hottest period in wrestling history, where the World Wrestling Federation and World Championship Wrestling were going head to head every Monday night from 1995 to 2001. This is an absolutely awesome series. There's a lot of episodes, a lot to get through, but it is well worth sticking with, and it is a surprisingly balanced account for both sides as well. This series was one of the first things that came out when the network was introduced back in 2014, and it is something that I've rewatched a couple of times already. It is just a fascinating, highly detailed account of the biggest boom period in wrestling history in the 1990s. The Rise and Fall of ECW came out on DVD back in 2004, and it became the all-time best-selling WWE home video release. It even initiated the revival of ECW as a brand the year later, and 15 years later it's not difficult to see why this lengthy, in-depth documentary was such a must-watch back in the day and today. Everything still holds up. It covers pretty much all of ECW. There is a slight anti-WCW bias to it, but it is still the definitive account of the third promotion in America throughout the 1990s, Extreme Championship Wrestling. Go and watch this one. It'll be one of the best 3 hours you spend on the network. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. Is for me one of the best WWE Blu-ray releases of more recent years, and it is available on the network. This is an in-depth 2-hour documentary about one of the greatest minds in the history of professional wrestling, the infamous manager, booker, on-screen personality, and probably most famously the owner of ECW, Paul Heyman. This not only gives further insight into ECW's operations, making this a great companion piece for the rise and fall of ECW, but it also covers every other aspect of Heyman's career, from his beginnings as a teenage photographer at Madison Square Garden up till the present day as the on-screen advocate of Brock Lesnar. This is an absolutely cracking documentary. Go and watch it. So those are the 5 documentaries that I recommend, but as I was saying earlier and in the previous video, this series is really designed to encourage you to watch current WWE or professional wrestling of any sort on a regular basis. So how do you do that if you've only got the network and you don't have BT Sport or AEW or any of the other streaming services for the independent and foreign, as in non-American promotions? So here is my 2 recommendations for what to watch every week that is current on the WWE network. Until only a couple of weeks ago, NXT was an exclusive weekly episodic show for the WWE network. It has since been moved to the USA network in America and has gone to 2 hours. However, it is still probably the thing worth watching most regularly on the WWE network, as it is available on demand for network subscribers only 24 hours after its TV transmission in the States, whereas Raw and SmackDown, you will have to wait 4 weeks for those episodes that have been on television to be uploaded to the network. And NXT, for my money, is consistently more superior to the Raw and SmackDown brands products. Whether NXT keeps its high level of quality action following its move to television and its extension to 2 hours does remain to be seen, but I, for one, am looking forward to continuing to watch what, for me, is WWE's best weekly product. A subdivision of NXT that is still exclusive to the WWE network is our very own NXT UK brand. This is a 1-hour weekly show that was shown every Wednesday. It is moving to Thursdays from this week at 8 o'clock UK time. So this is something that is shown at a reasonable time for us here in Britain and Europe. NXT UK is, of course, as the name suggests, wrestling action from the United Kingdom every week. It showcases the finest UK talent. There's been a couple of special pay-per-view length UK takeover shows so far, as well as a couple of United Kingdom Championship tournaments. This is a great little brand. Fantastic to see all these British, Irish and European wrestlers getting the chance to earn a living with WWE. It's a fun little show. No episodes have gone over 60 minutes apart from the takeovers that I mentioned previously. Support British wrestling and watch NXT UK on the network. And there you have it. I hope this has been of some use to you again. If you would like to see a part 3 in this series, then please do let me know. I'm still happy to talk about things that I haven't managed to cover in the first 2 videos. It could be things like you asking questions. I could do like a FAQ type thing where if you've got a question about wrestling or WWE, it doesn't matter how daft you might think the question is. You know, if you're an absolute beginner and know nothing about the sport, then you want to find the answer to questions that might seem silly, but you need answering so that you can have a better understanding when you start watching. So don't feel embarrassed to ask me something in the comments, or of course you can leave me a message on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And if you would like me to answer some questions, it could be about wrestling terminology, it could be about the different championships, it could be about anything you like. But if you want me to do a part 3 where I can tackle some of these questions and maybe give a few more recommendations for the network, then please let me know. That's going to be it from me for today. Thank you all for watching once again. Thank you to all of my subscribers. I'm going to go now, and I do hope you join me again for my next wrestling related video. Cheers everyone. See ya.